Good afternoon. As you can tell, my voice has returned. I am very pleased about this. It's going to be a pretty short vlog today. I'm going to talk about some things later this evening, and that'll be the bulk of this one. Otherwise, there's not too much happening today, other than your standard share of work and things. Playing Awesome Knots is what's happening right now. I can't control my character and attack while controlling the camera at the same time. Because I don't have three hands. I'm not as newbie as this, I swear. We seem to be experiencing technical difficulties. Keep failing at Awesome Knots. We are installing updates, and hopefully that'll fix it. Hi everyone. I know this has been a short vlog today. No, it's kind of what it was supposed to be. I know I was kind of busy at the house and did a lot of things around here and ended up playing a little bit of Awesome Knots with Todd, which is fun. I haven't done that in a little while. But this time I wanted to take the evening to dedicate to someone special. As you can see behind me, I have a picture of my great-grandmother. Her name was Helen Humphreys, and she just passed away earlier this week. It was something that we all kind of saw coming for a little while now. It's still something that the family doesn't take very easily. And we did it's for a couple reasons. She was very resilient in life. She just a few years ago she was actually walking from the place she was staying at, walking across the street to a Walgreens, and she did it every day. And she was hit by a car, and she was like, over 90 years old and hit by a car. And most people, like, if you're over 90 and you get hit by a car, it's kind of the end of you. But not her. She kind of bounced back from it just fine. Not many people could say that. Even younger people can't even say that. So, she had an incredible will to live. And she went through. She pulled out of several strokes, and she, for the entirety of her younger life, she was completely healthy. She never really had any major health conditions. So, that's enough of talking about that. Her life on Earth was very pleasant, and not just in the sense that she had a pleasant life, but in that she was a very pleasant person in many different ways. When my parents were going through their divorce, she was one of the few people that was always very accepting of both my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family. And she didn't judge anyone, which during that period there was a lot of tensions between the two sides. But she was always very nice to me, very nice to my mom, and understanding of everything. And she is my great grandmother on my dad's side, which is why it was so important and so impactful that she was nice to the family members on my mom's side. She's one of the few people that when she passed, that even my grandmother on my mom's side was genuinely sorry for her. She always had a smile on her face right up until the end. I know I just saw her a couple days ago, it was earlier last week. When I walked in, she had just came out of a stroke, and she was paralyzed from one side of her body, and she couldn't speak. And it was really hard to go in and watch that. But when I walked in there and she looked up at me, and all she did was smile, which was shocking because the nurses and the other people that were there said she hadn't done that in a long time, even before the stroke. So she had, memory problems and trouble remembering, things that she did the day before. But somehow she always remembered me, and she always remembered family members. It was like, no matter what she was going through, No matter how bad things got with her, she always thought about us. And I felt kind of bad because the last time I saw her before last week was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember when I came in her door then, I got warned before that she probably wouldn't remember me because she had been kind of suffering from memory problems. But the moment I walked in, she remembered me then. Um, the moment she opened the door, she started calling my name and telling me to come inside, which shocked my grandparents because they had just told me that she probably wasn't going to remember me. And to make it kind of even more, I guess, heartfelt or touching, she had been keeping a bag of nickels for me. Apparently, she had been keeping the nickels for me for like 10 or 15 years, and she had been hiding them. And so she was waiting for the right moment to give them to me. And nobody knew about it. And I remember when she came pulling out this huge bag of nickels. It was like $200 worth of nickels. She came pulling out, and when she came out with it, my grandparents were very confused. I mean, we were all kind of confused. We were like, what is she doing? Like, searching. Like, she just said she had something to give me, and she'd been keeping it for a while, and that she would be right back. And she came back in with this like 30-pound bag of nickels, and nobody knew what to do. And when she gave it to me, she said that it was something she wanted to do for me because at the time I was in college, and she wanted me to go on a nice trip while I was in college. And so I actually ended up using those nickels to help pay for my trip to Orlando that I did that year. And it wouldn't have been as great as it was without those nickels. I must say that. It was like she knew, that I was going to need those nickels. Um, and I'm not sure if you know, but when somebody in your family passes, you kind of remember, like, your memories of them come and go in blips. And it's really hard to describe because as I'm saying this right now, one thing that comes to my mind was when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I remember going out to dinner with her and my grandparents, and she had this ring that had a very big rock on it. And she always sat in the back seat with me, no matter how much my grandfather or grandmother begged her to move up to the front seat. She always sat in the back seat with me. And I remember she had this big rock on her ring and asked her what it was. And she told me it was a moonstone. It was a very big moonstone that she said would change colors with whatever she was wearing. And I don't know if it was true or not. I just know that to this day, every time I see a moonstone, all I could think of is her. And that time I was in the backseat with her, and I keep waiting for them to change colors. I don't know if it's true, but it's something I remember about her, and it's a memory that I will always remember. And, there were other times when tensions were getting really rough between my family, or between my mom's family and my dad's family, that she would mail my mom a card just letting her know that everything was going to be okay. Um, and whenever I was first diagnosed with diabetes when I was 2, uh, she helped my mom feel at ease and let her know that, no matter what happened, that she would either be there or that there would always be a place for her to go if she needed help. And, you gotta understand, as nobody at the time was really doing anything like that. But she was. That's just the kind of person she was. And there's actually another story that just happened a couple years ago. Not even a couple years ago, might have been earlier this year. But my grandfather was telling me that she had a very odd eating palate against her. She had very odd eating habits, and like she would never eat the white part of an egg or the yolk of an egg. Sorry, she would never eat the yolk of an egg. And my grandfather, who likes to act like a professional cook, which is he's not really, but he could cook like one. Made breakfast one day and was trying to, tell her to, just eat the yolk of the egg because, she was already old enough. She might as well just enjoy all the foods that were in the world. And she looked at him and said, "How do you think I got to be 98 years old?" Which was so true. um, so, but I just wanted to take this time to remember her and to kind of immortalize her. I know it's just my own personal vlog on YouTube, but this was something that was important to me. This was a person that was important to me, and I'm not going to be able to make it to her funeral or services because she is being cremated and sent to New Orleans, which is where her family is. It's where her husband is, who who I was never able to meet. But I imagine if she is any representation as to the kind of person he was probably a very outstanding individual. I hope everyone has at least one person in their life who is as nice and as understanding, is as caring, and has as much love as she did. Because there are very few people out there that do. And I know I didn't get to see her very often, but I will miss her. I hope everyone takes the time to remember Miss Helen Humphreys.